very much, Mr. Wan, Ms. Hawker, Mr. Johnson, for coming and participating in this. Just wanted to share with you findings about the installation of awnings on our campuses. Since the new high school has been built in 1990, there's been several other added buildings along the way, the Agron building, the new field house, and we've never had awnings to connect all of them, and it's caused several issues for students. So I think by installing them, our students will be benefited greatly in keeping them safe, warm and dry. Also, we'll be able to better serve students with disabilities. I've worked with Joseph and with Kayla both since the 7th grade, and getting them back and forth across buildings when it rains, they haven't been able to go. So I'm really excited to be able to see this going forward. I think it's going to be a tremendous benefit to those students as well. Warm, safe, and dry access for all students, mandated by the State Department of Education, is something that this will also help us to meet. By installing the awnings, that will fix that particular mandate. Also, the awnings will add visual appeal. I think the new awnings that we've put in over there by the tornado shelter have just made a tremendous difference. It just makes everything look a whole lot better. In order to determine the path and placement of the awnings, I did talk with Mr. Johnson early on in the process, and then spent quite a bit of time with you, Mr. Wan. Also with Roy Kelm Construction, he was particularly helpful, and he made several suggestions that I wasn't even thinking of, that I think will help us out a lot towards what we need to do. Awnings should be built, in my humble opinion. I think it's going to really help a lot of students. And like I said, I think it'll also help us improve the aesthetic look of our campus. Partnership funds is something that we also spoke about, that because it is going to meet the State Department mandate of safe, dry, and warm, that we likely will get some partnership funds from the State Department, which would be very, very handy in helping pay for it if we can do that. Also, handicap access is something that used to be considered. Next to the junior high entrance there, underneath the new awnings, there's no handicap access there. Also the Agri building and the field house. So considering handicap access is something that we should also consider. We'll show a few slides here that will help us determine the path, help us talk about the path. You can see here where we start at the end of the new awning and go directly towards the high school, and then make a 90-degree angle and just connect to the existing sidewalk there. And that will take us across that path all the way over to just north of the high school, next to the Agri building, and that's where we'll make that first crossing. And it will cross actually right there. Mr. Kelm suggested making the crossing not where we had previously discussed, across the bulk of the parking lot, but to go and extend it and connect to that sidewalk that extends from the Agri building. He thought that would be much easier to do. And you can see another vantage point there of me in my black coat walking across there. And that's the other vantage point where Mr. Kelm suggested the awnings would go. He also suggested that at that particular span of the drive there, that we would not actually place awnings. He said it would just be difficult to do, difficult to facilitate. So he thought we should stop just off of the asphalt on the east side there and on the west side, and so we'd just be starting the awnings right there by the stop sign, and then continue the awnings on across in front of the Agri building and spanning the whole, just right there in front of that, instead of down the asphalt up there by the Agri building, and expand it. So we would also require additional sidewalks to be installed there. That's his suggestion, and to come to the edge of the field house building and then take a 90, and we'll probably have to extend that culvert just a little bit too. That was his opinion of the best path, and then connect back to the asphalt and continue on to the Agri building from there. And he did give me an estimate cost, which again is just strictly an estimate from him, to approximately 1,200 square feet, 1,200 linear feet rather, of awnings, and a total of 8 turns or structure changes. One traffic crossing, which would be behind the cafeteria building to allow our people that supply food and stuff to the cafeteria to be able to access there. So that would be the only rise there, was Mr. Cowan's suggestion. Also, the crossing from the north lawn behind the high school to the existing sidewalk beside the Agri building, his suggestion again was to leave that uncovered. He said that expansion is just too broad and would be problematic for traffic. The approximate cost would be $100,000 to $120,000, which that would, where the partnership funds would sure be handy if those could come into play. There is already a major project going on, the fence around the football field and field house, and that probably, in my mind, would probably be the thing that would have to be finished first. But it'd be great if we could start on that, on the awnings project at least by June 1st. Do it over the summer. Fewer students, less traffic would be there. A few other considerations to concern we should talk about is the additional sidewalks, because there is no sidewalks from Ms. Riggins, from that room, the sidewalk outside of Ms. Riggins' room on north to connect to that sidewalk by the field house. There are no sidewalks there, so that would be the first place, and then at the corner of the field house down the asphalt again. So we'd have to consider that. Also, installing speed bumps perhaps, just to slow traffic in that area, I think would probably be a good idea. And perhaps paint the asphalt to denote pedestrian crossing, signage, appropriate signage to slow drivers, and then perhaps some concrete barriers once we connect to the asphalt going toward the field house, maybe some concrete bumpers or something just to keep people from driving through there. Might be an additional thing that we're going to talk about. So again, the installation of awnings would help us be in compliance with the State Department mandated safe, warm, and dry. And again, I do believe it would certainly improve the aesthetic appeal to that side of the campus. It will be somewhat cost effective, I think, especially some of the suggestions Mr. Cowan has made. And again, for the first time, it would connect all the buildings on our campus, which would be something to be exciting, something to look forward to. So again, I'd just like to say thank you very much, Mr. Wong, for your help. You've been very helpful in this entire process. And Mr. Johnson for being a part of this. Harvard, thank you for your attendance too. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Very good project and the time frames involved. So I think you did a good job. Really did.
Thank you. Is there any questions or any concerns that you guys may have?
The only thing that I would be a little concerned about is having the break in it before we go over the street. I think to make the project viable, they would have to be continuous.
Yeah.
That you're not gonna, if you get them wet for 35 feet and they're dry the rest of the time, they're still wet.
Right.
So, that would be the only thing that I would say we would probably have to look at whatever aspect of that we need to probably continue the coverage over that. Right. And there's a way that it can be done. You just have to go to a little heavier grade material.
Right.
And then you have to get, enough clearance where you'd have truck. But other than that, look very good.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, and appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.